views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Bronx Borough President Vanessa L. Gibson's Kosovo 14th Independence Day celebration. Please give yourselves a nice round of applause for being here today. Thank you for joining us. My name is Sarah Rivera, and I am the Director of Special Events for the Borough President's Office, and it is my honor to introduce our MC. Dora Nano is an undergraduate student at NYU Tisch School of the Arts, studying photography and documentary filmmaking. Her experience traveling back to Albania every summer, where her family is from, has nourished her connection to her roots and her curiosity about activism, culture, intersectional feminism, anthropology, and collective memory. Her work focuses on these themes along with the poetics of witnessing ordinary life. She aspires to devote her career to educating and being educated. Please help me welcome Dora Nano.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dora Nano, and it is my pleasure to welcome you here today for the occasion of Kosovo's 14th year of independence. And of course, to honor our wonderful honorees here today. For those of you who do not know me, like mentioned, I'm currently an undergraduate student at NYU, and I'm studying documentary filmmaking and photography. My parents immigrated here from Albania in 1994, and I was actually born in the Bronx in 2001. Growing up, I would go back to Albania every summer and spend time with my family and my cousins, and this really helped me develop a connection to my culture, my roots, the language, and of course, this informed a lot of the themes within my work today and within my future aspirations with documentary filmmaking, activism, intersectional feminism, collective memory. And so, today is a very special day because for the first time in the history of the state of New York and the Borough of the Bronx, we are celebrating Kosovo's independence. And so, before we commence our program, I would like everybody to please rise and stand for the national anthem of Kosovo. Thank you. At this time, I would like to welcome to the podium the Ambassador of Kosovo, Frumzim Isufaj, to say a few words.
Thank you very much. It's really a great pleasure to be with all of you today. Thank you for organizing this event on honoring the 14th anniversary of the independence of the Republic of Kosovo. Dear Congressman Torres, Bronx Borough President Gibson, Secretary of State Rodriguez, dear friends, it is such a great honor and pride that I speak in front of you today. I'm honored because in this chamber today, the Governor's Office and Bronx Borough President have organized this great event to mark the 14th anniversary of the independence of my country. I'm proud because today my fellow compatriots are being honored and for their achievements in this country. And we are all proud of their accomplishments. I belong to a generation that has gone through the worst, witnessed genocide, massacres, rape, exclusion, and discrimination. My generation still has fresh memories of times when we were denied education, when our schools were closed. But I'm also fortunate enough to belong to a generation that has witnessed the birth of our state, a generation that defied all odds. We are a generation that struggled to exist. However, we witnessed what was considered impossible become possible. Not because we had the power, but because we were right. Because we dared to dream and we had hopes. Hopes to be equal, hopes to be free. Today, Kosovo is a free and an independent country. We are not only the newest country in Europe, but we are also the youngest in terms of population. While we celebrate 14 years of our statehood, we remember that our accomplishments stand on the shoulders of all of those who supported Kosovo's unwavering quest for liberty and democracy, most especially the United States of America. You were with us when around 1 million Kosovars, half of our population, was deported, assisting us in the refugee camps. And you were with us when we returned home. Although we found everything in ashes, we rebuilt our homes and our lives with your help and support. For that, we will forever be grateful. The freedom and independence Kosovo enjoys today and its progress are closely linked with the tireless work and contribution of our diaspora, who many are here today with us in this chamber. Our diaspora here in the US deserves just as much credit for laying the foundation of the state of Kosovo. They were our ambassadors when we did not have a voice. I want to thank them all for their contribution and constant involvement. Today, we are all proud with what Kosovo has achieved during these years of its statehood. We remain committed to further consolidating our democratic institutions and becoming a factor of peace and stability in the region and beyond, together with a valuable friendship and continuous support from the US and other allies. I thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to address you today. Urime lëgzuar gjithë dita e pavarësisë së Republikës Kosovës. Ju falenderoj.
So much, Mr. Isufai. Ladies and gentlemen, this person that I will bring up is someone who has worked very hard for the people of the Bronx. On November 2nd, 2021, Vanessa L. Gibson was elected Bronx Borough President to serve the over 1.5 million residents and families that call the Bronx home. Ms. Gibson began her career serving the people of the West Bronx. Starting in January 2001, while a student at the University at Albany, Ms. Gibson joined the New York State Assembly intern program and was assigned to then Assemblywoman Aurelia Green. On graduation, Ms. Gibson served as legislative aide, then would rise to the district manager, overseeing the Bronx office, and was responsible for the day-to-day operations of the district office, supervising the staff and all administrative and Ms. Gibson decided to run for the New York State Assembly and was elected to this position in a special election on June 2nd, 2009, to represent the residents and families of the 77th District in the Bronx. Ms. Gibson would serve for 2 terms in the NYS Assembly and then decided to run for an open seat in the New York City Council in 2013 to replace the term-limited council member Helen Diane Foster. Ms. Gibson was elected to the New York City Council in November 2013. In 2020, she announced her run for the Bronx Borough President with a mission to move the Bronx forward, focusing on public safety, the digital divide, food equity, housing equality, health and wellness, gender equity, support for the LGBTQIA community, and a myriad of other issues. Ms. Gibson won her primary election in June, general election in November, and now proudly represents the Borough of the Bronx as the first woman and African-American Bronx Borough President. Despite several challenges during her first term, Ms. Gibson is optimistic for better days ahead in the Bronx. She is honored and thankful for the opportunity to serve for such a time in the elected office. Please give a warm welcome to our first African-American woman Bronx Borough President, Vanessa Gibson.
Thank you so much to Dora. Give her one more round of applause as our mistress of ceremonies today. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Bronx Borough Hall, to this beautiful rotunda. I am so honored and privileged to serve as your 14th Bronx Borough President. I welcome each and every one of you to our Kosovo Independence Day. Happy Independence Day, Kosovo! So I am delighted to be here with all of my colleagues in government, our distinguished ambassador, our distinguished members of the General Consulate of Kosovo, and to really all of you, to the community that represents this vibrant community of Kosovo. Today is a really great day. Today is a day of celebration. Today is a day of recognition, and today is a celebration of survival. I am joined this afternoon by my esteemed Deputy Bronx Borough President. I want to recognize Janet Biguero is here. And I will also acknowledge shortly my colleagues who are here with us. But it is no secret that in the 7 weeks that we've served as your borough president, we've had some challenges here in the Bronx. We continue to deal with COVID-19 and this global pandemic and its impact on our children and families. We continue to deal with poverty and food insecurity and fighting for stable housing. But on January 9th, we never knew that we would face a horrific 5-alarm fire in the Fordham Heights community that unfortunately claimed the lives of 17 neighbors, 9 adults and 8 children. And 7 weeks later, we continue to help the residents and families of Twin Parks. Their lives have been forever changed. I have seen resilience before, but I have never seen resilience in this way. Bronxites, New Yorkers, people from all across this city and this state came together and worked with all of us, with all of my colleagues, to help so many of our children, our families. They provided not just counseling and support, they provided household items, monetary donations, and it's been challenging. And I am just so proud to be the borough president at this time. And I just want to say on behalf of my staff and I, thank you. Thank you for all that you have done to help your neighbors in need. It shows the resilience and it shows the strength of our beautiful, beloved borough of the Bronx. So I want to say thank you for that. In addition, we've had some other challenges, but we are no stranger to adversity and working hard. We've been counted out so many times in the Bronx, and each time we come back stronger and stronger again. There have been some setbacks for us in the borough, but if you understand, like I know, every setback is preparation for a comeback, and our borough is preparing for a serious comeback. I am guided by my faith, which is my foundation, and like so many in the Kosovo community, my faith tells me to stay strong, to never give up, to stand up, to fight the good fight, and believe that better days lie ahead. So on this day, February 17th, we are here to celebrate and highlight Europe's youngest country, Kosovo. I like to say Kosovo. In its 14th independence, we celebrate all of our incredible leaders whose contributions, whose hard work, whose labor of love and leadership has made our borough a better place. Kosovo got an early taste of its future in 1945 as the autonomous province of Kosovo and Metohija within the socialist Yugoslavia. Later in 1968, it became the socialist autonomous province of Kosovo. Yugoslavia's new constitution in 1974 enabled the province to function at every administrative level, independently of its host republic within Yugoslavia. In the late 1980s, its president at the time, Slobodan Milosevic, he was Serbia's president within Yugoslavia, before dying decades later in 2006, while on trial for war crimes, effectively terminated the 1974 privileges, saying that they were contrary to the interests of the Serbs. His move drew criticism from many, and in response, in 1990, the Kosovo Assembly voted to declare Kosovo an independent state. The Assembly's vote was recognized by Albania. When you think about even the short history of 14 years, think about the growth, the independence, the strength, the collaboration, the partnership, the commitment, the dedication, the investment of Kosovo. Making sure that we give our people access, opportunity to strive, to thrive, supporting our small businesses, entrepreneurs, our merchants, to make sure that they have all the opportunities that everyone else should be afforded. And so the honorees that we are recognizing this year represent the very best. They exemplify all that we are so proud to honor here at this Independence celebration. And it has been mentioned that this is the first time in Bronx County and in the state of New York that we are recognizing the independence of Kosovo. And I'm very proud of that. I am very proud of that. I am very proud of that because it means that we are laying the groundwork. It means that we are setting the standard and we are setting the tone of what it means to recognize our beautiful borough, our beautiful state, and this gorgeous mosaic of culture, of diversity, of ethnicity, of language, of music, of good food, and making sure that we just provide so much. That's what this Independence celebration means for me as your borough president and for all of us. And so I want to congratulate our honorees. We also have a posthumous recognition. We're honoring someone who has transitioned, and his son is here with us today. But we are just so grateful. While this may be the first, guess what? It won't be the last, right? So as I recognize my colleagues, I certainly want to thank our staff, my team who's assembled here, our Director of Special Events, Sarah Rivera, Sonia Malave. I also want to thank the governor's staff, our Director of Latino Affairs and Bronx Director, Sophia Zayas. Thank you, Sophia. And now it's my honor to recognize and call up my friend, my partner. He and I had the opportunity to serve in the New York State Assembly as Assembly members. He represented District 68 in El Barrio in East Harlem, following in his late father's footsteps as the Assembly member of that same district. I often say, once an Assembly member, always an assembly member, and he served for longer than me. I was there for 4 years. He served for 11 years. And last November, he was appointed by Governor Kathy Hochul to serve as our Secretary of State. And I'm so proud that he's partnered with us to host this Independence Day event. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our New York State Secretary of State, Robert Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Borough President, for that very warm introduction. And thank you to the MC. Know that NYU alumni are everywhere doing great things. So, good afternoon and happy Independence Day. I am Robert Rodriguez, the Acting Secretary of State, and it's my pleasure to be here with you representing Governor Hochul. And regrettably, Governor Hochul could not be here, but she has provided a proclamation recognizing the 14th annual Kosovo Independence Day celebration. Before I share some excerpts from the governor's proclamation, I'd like to, of course, thank our host, Borough President Gibson, who brings her own sense of style and swag to Borough Hall, as well as Ambassador Isufai. Thank you for being here. The state of New York is pleased to celebrate the 14th annual Kosovo Independence Day, and as was mentioned, it's the first time that New York State is recognizing this day of independence. But it has shown that New York needs and can be the beacon of hope for immigrants across the globe, which is why it's so significant that we're doing this here today. Today, New York is the home to 4.4 million new Americans who help make up the fabric of our society. Immigrant communities across the state, like yours here in the Bronx, have made such important and tangible impacts to our community here in New York. Our immigrant communities really demonstrate the spirit, determination, and resiliency that New Yorkers pride ourselves on. And through our work at the state with the Office of New Americans, we provide a variety of free support services to all immigrants and refugees in the state of New York. These services include community-based services and programs such as workforce development, mental health, English learning, and legal assistance that help immigrants start their new lives here, with 2 opportunity centers here in the borough of the Bronx. So Governor Hochul recognizes how important these services are to help immigrants establish themselves here in New York. And the governor is working harder than ever to make sure that immigrants' rights are protected and they receive full access to representation, benefits, and opportunities that they both need and deserve. So, specifically with regards to Kosovo Independence Day, we'll continue this welcoming tradition by recognizing the distinct contributions of Kosovars, both to our city, our state, and to our communities, and continue to help them to add to the rich and diverse fabric of the Empire State. So I look forward to presenting the proclamation and the certificates to all of the honorees. And thank you for the opportunity to be here and to celebrate all Kosovars here in New York State. Thank you.
Thank you so much to our Secretary of State, Robert Rodriguez. And I want to take this opportunity to acknowledge some of our partners in government who are here and allow them a chance to provide brief remarks on behalf of our community and our celebration of independence. First, I want to recognize our congressmen, and I take this point of privilege to, in front of everyone, to thank Congressman Richie Torres for your work on behalf of the residents of Twin Parks. Richie and I come to these positions as former council members, and we have been working hand in hand together. And Richie has introduced legislation at the federal level to provide more safety around space heaters and more regulations at the federal level so that we can prevent any tragedy from happening again where lives are lost due to horrific residential fires. So I just want to want to say thank you for your leadership, your commitment, and please come up. Congressman Richie Torres.
Well, first I want to just thank the Borough President, who is my closest friend in elected office. It's an honor to be a partner with her, representing the people of the Bronx. Mr. Ambassador, it's an honor to be in your presence, and I want you to know Kosovo has no greater champion here in the United States than my friend Harry Bajraktari. Where's Harry? And I'm here not only as the congressman for the South Bronx, but I'm actually the co-chair of the Albanian caucus, which is a position I inherited from the great Eliot Engel, who was by far the greatest advocate for the Albanian community in the history of the United States Congress. So I know I have the biggest shoes to fill. You know, we're living in a challenging time when America's leadership of the world is under siege, under threat, from Russia and its allies like Serbia, from China, North Korea, Iran. And so for me, it's more urgent than ever before that we unconditionally support our friends. And the United States has no greater friend in Southeast Europe than Kosovo. And Kosovo should have no greater friend in the world than the United States. And so I want to assure you that my colleagues and I in Congress stand firmly with the people of Kosovo as you seek universal recognition from the international community and as you seek membership in both the European Union and NATO. We stand firmly in defending the sovereignty and equality of Kosovo. Kosovo should get the same recognition and the same respect that every other independent country takes for granted, period. Now, I'm the legislator in the Bronx who represents more Bronxites than anyone. Vanessa Gibson is the chief executive officer of the Bronx. We both believe that the Bronx is the best borough in New York City. It's the best county in the United States. But part of the greatness of the Bronx is the Albanian diaspora. And I just want to send a simple message that we appreciate you, we value you, and we will fight for you not only here in the Bronx, but in the halls of the United States Congress. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Congressman Torres. We appreciate your partnership and your leadership, and I look forward to our continued work. I next want to recognize our council member who represents District 13 in the East Bronx. A majority of the residents and families from Albania and Kosovo live in the East Bronx, and we're very proud of that diversity. Ladies and gentlemen, our council member of District 13, Marjorie Velasquez.
Gotta adjust for the shortness. Hi, everyone. I'm Councilmember Marjorie Velasquez, and thank you for coming today, and thank you, Vanessa, for this event, because when we're talking about independence, right? It's 14 years. Compared to the other countries, you're still a baby. But the fight to get there has been the hardest and most significant. And we're gonna recognize that because, look, amongst the electeds, I guess I'm the youngest, right? I'm like the newbie in the block. But that doesn't discount the challenges that got there. And it's what binds us together. As a Puerto Rican growing up, we noticed that there weren't opportunities for us. The Bronx was often ignored by the rest of the city. But we grew and we came stronger. Just like the diaspora that's in my community. We're growing, and we're gonna do this together and be stronger. It's about providing opportunities for our families to stay here, to stay together, for the Albanian community to understand the level of commitment it means to make sure that we're educating folks on how to have businesses. We're educating folks on proper ways of giving back to us, our community. We're here for you. And what that means, it means that we're gonna give you an opportunity for a better education, right? Growing up, and Richie can tell you because my dad was always on him, education, education, education. That's why, Dora, I'm an NYU graduate too, Sterney in the house. And what we're doing is making sure that everyone knows that we're gonna work together, right? Just because I am from Puerto Rico does not mean that I don't understand the challenges that the Albanian community has faced, that we're working together. Thank you to Mark Jonai for setting the standard and for leaving big shoes for me to fill, but we're still here, we're working together for our community, and it starts on us. And so my dedication here and my commitment to you all is we're gonna get through this, and we're gonna get through it together. The COVID has exposed some of our darkest days, but we're getting through together. Challenges that folks in the Albanian community have faced, we're getting through this, and we're gonna get through this together with partners like Congress member Richie Torres in Congress. We're gonna do this together. The Bronx is brighter because of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Velasquez. And now it is also my honor to recognize one of my former colleagues during my time in the New York City Council, but certainly someone who made history in this state as the first ever Albanian American elected to office. And during his time as a member of the New York State Assembly and then as a member of the New York City Council, certainly prioritizing all of the needs in the Albanian community and really being a champion for the residents and families. And it's my honor to recognize the former council member of District 13, Mark Jonai.
Good afternoon, Amirdita. Can we please have a round of applause for today's host, Madam President Gibson, Mr. Secretary of State, and all of you, our dignitaries, our elected officials, on this historic occasion. Madam President, thank you for making history, for being the first to recognize Kosovo's independence. Mr. Secretary, thank you for representing Governor Hochul in recognizing and celebrating Kosovo's independence. I am proud of my ethnicity, but I have never been more proud of this great country that we live in and call home than today. We are fortunate to live in a country that recognizes every piece of fabric that makes this country, this state, this city, and our borough great. We're fortunate to live in a country that allows you to excel, that allows you to achieve your wildest dreams while encouraging you to hold on to your traditions, your culture, and your language. That is not found in other countries and other parts of the world. It's actually contrary. So today, we honor. Today, we show our respect for the Albanians' greatest friend and ally, and remind the world that although the Albanians are one of the oldest people in Europe, today they're also representing the youngest country in Europe. And that freedom and independence would not have been possible without the United States of America. but that freedom was not free. That independence was paid for by blood, tears, and life. 14,000 murdered. 20,000 women raped. 1 million people displaced. And countless homes and lives destroyed. As Albanians, your debt to this country will be one that you could never repay fully. And you owe it to this country to not only become a part of the society, but giving back. And that's what we have in today's honorees. In healthcare, in community leadership, in graduates, giving back to a country that's given us so much is our debt, and the only sincere way that we can say thank you. So, Gzur, Dita Flamurit, God bless America, God bless the Albanian people wherever they may be in the world, and God bless all of you for being here today.
Thank you so much, Mark Jonai. We really appreciate your service to this state, to this city, and we appreciate your commitment. Thank you so very much. I also want to acknowledge that we have Clifford Robin here on behalf of our Assembly Member of District 80, Natalia Fernandez. Thank you so much for being here to Cliff. And I also want to acknowledge that we have with us a diplomat who served as a United States ambassador to El Salvador, and he led Kosovo's verification mission, and he traveled all the way here today from Washington, D.C., and I want to acknowledge diplomat William Walker. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again to all of my colleagues, to our Secretary of State, and to the staff, and really everyone. So now we are proud to begin the awards ceremony in recognizing our distinguished honorees. And when you hear their bios, you will notice that there is a common theme among all of our honorees. They are essential workers. They put their lives on the line every day in the healthcare sector, fighting to protect Bronxites and New Yorkers with quality and affordable health care. During COVID-19, when we saw healthcare workers as the heroes they already were, it was a reminder of so many of the challenges that we faced. And so these honorees represent so much of what we are striving to achieve here in the Bronx. When you talk about health equity and healthcare justice, making sure that every resident is afforded quality health care no matter who they are and no matter what community they come from. And so now I'd like to turn the program back over to our Mistress of Ceremonies so we can begin the awards presentations. Ladies and gentlemen, please help us welcome Miss Dora Nano.
So much, Vanessa. So, our first honoree today is Dr. Suleiman Çelay. Dr. Suleiman Mani Çelay was born in Jakov, Kosovo. He attended and finished medical school at the University of Medicine and Pharmacy in Craiova, Romania. After moving to the USA, as a refugee and obtaining the USMLE, he started training at the Montefiore Medical Center University Hospital for Albert Einstein School of Medicine. After finishing his training for 8 years, he was hired by Montefiore Medical Center as Director of Cardiac Catheterization and Interventional Program, and at the St. Barnabas Hospital as a full-time faculty staff at Montefiore Medical Center. He was appointed Assistant Professor of Medicine. He was also appointed as the Associate Professor of Medicine at the CUNY Sophie Davis School of Medicine. He received the Teachers Award 3 times at Montefiore Medical Center, Albert Einstein School of Medicine. He's the co-founder and 2nd president of the Albanian American Medical Society. He was featured in Times Square for his contribution to helping COVID patients and his contribution in Albania and Kosovo during the global pandemic. With his daughter Adea, he organized a fundraising effort in 2019 after the devastating earthquake in Albania and raised funds to help rebuild homes in Albania. In 2020, he was honored by the President of Albania with the highest civilian medal, Order Knight of Skanderbeg, for his contribution in education of young Albanians and his humanitarian work with the Albanian American community. That's our first honoree today.
Thank you very much for giving me this honor. It's an honor for me, my family, for my country, my co-workers, my students, and my people. That's the way I like to call people from the Bronx. It's a privilege and honor for me to be here in front of you to celebrate independence of Kosovo. My country where I was born, you heard the stories how the country was devastated by wars and refugees, and one of them, it's me. Coming to the United States and America as a refugee, I was scared. I didn't know what to expect, but soon after I realized that I found my second home. I lived in the Bronx for many years. I work in the Bronx throughout most of the hospitals for over 20 years now, and I'm happy and proud to call the Bronx my home. I want to thank the Bronx Borough President, Ms. Gibson, Secretary of State, Mr. Ambassador, all of you for being here, and I want to say Happy Independence Day, Gzuar Pambarsin, and I just want to say that the day is even more special for me having my father here. Thank you all.
So much, Mr. Chelay. Our second honoree here today is Dr. Eleonora Gashi. Dr. Eleonora Gashi is an interventional cardiologist from New York, serving as Director of Cardiovascular Consultation Services, Director of Quality for the Cardiac Care Unit, and Associate Director of Quality Assurance and Performance Improvements for the Department of Medicine at Jacobi Hospital in the Bronx. She also serves as Assistant Professor at the affiliated Albert Einstein College of Medicine. Dr. Gashi completed her undergraduate studies at NYU, College of Arts and Sciences, and an all-but doctorate in neuroscience at the City University of New York, where she published several papers and conducted research with a focus on Alzheimer's disease and brain-heart relationship complex. Dr. Gashi partnered with Yagat Narula, Philip J. and Harriet Goodhart Chair in Cardiology at Mount Sinai in the HAPPY Project, Heart Attack Prevention Program for You. As part of that, she led and implemented the Happy Kosovo project during the summer of 2018. Dr. Gashi was born in Peja, Kosovo, and has been an active member of the New York Albanian American diaspora for 25 years. She is married with 3 children. So, Dr. Gashi, welcome to the stage.
Thank you to everyone today. Thank you to Madam President, the Secretary, Acting Secretary. I'm from Peja, one of the greatest cities in Kosovo, so if you have a chance, please come visit Peja. I came here almost 30 years ago, barely started high school, and I feel like, like every immigrant, parents embed in us education, education, education. I feel like with a passion and mission to take care of people, it just only comes naturally that it brought me eventually to a place as such as diverse as the Bronx community. So I'm honored to be the honoree in the celebration, but I'm also very grateful and privileged that I actually serve and provide care in one of the places, public hospitals, where the diversity of patient care is intense. So thank you, and I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gashi. So, our third honoree here today is Rafaela Priefti. From 27 to date, she has been the English editor of Dieli, The Sun, the oldest Albanian-American newspaper located in the heart of Little Italy in the Bronx. She's covered protests and rallies addressing war crimes in Kosovo, reported on congressional hearings, campaign events and discussions on combating sexual violence in conflict areas, conducted interviews with speakers, guests, and officials on topics ranging from policy making to the stigma associated with sexual assault. Rafaela covered daily press briefings and conducted interviews with the New York State officials during the pandemic, inquiring about the Albanian-American community. She's a board member of Vatra Pan-Albanian Federation of America, Sons and Daughters of Albania, and the Martin and Mirash Ivanaj Education Foundation. So everybody please welcome Rafaela to the podium.
Thank you. Secretary, Madam President, ambassadors, congressmen, distinguished guests, and friends, thank you for organizing the event. Thank you to the organizers and the hosts. This is a moment that carries special significance for me. I'm humbled, first of all, to be in the presence of the respected honorees, and I feel that it is a special honor because I was not born in Kosovo. As I said to Sofia, I'm not a native, but I feel like a Kosovo Albanian. I left Albania to come to the United States, but I left the States to go to Kosovo. I worked and lived there for a few years, and it's changed my life forever. This is a moment of special significance for me because I feel that this is a part of the Kosovo connection. I am from Albania, I worked in Kosovo, I'm being honored and I continue my work as a journalist here, and I'm honored today in the event of the 14th anniversary of its independence. Sofia, who's an American, is an organizer, and she's instrumental to our community. She's also someone that says Kosovo versus Kosovo, as Madam President said. So we understand the significance of that. Dora, who's emceeing, is born here, but of Albanian descent, and she's emceeing the event. So I believe each and every one in this room shares and is a part of the Kosovo connection. And for that I feel and I believe that Kosovo makes me a better Albanian and a better American. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rafaela. Our fourth honoree here today is Esad Rizai, the president and founder of the Albanian American Society Foundation. As the founder and president of the Albanian American Society Foundation, he has been a central figure in the Bronx, has been recognized for his hard work and efforts to elevate his beloved Albanian community. He's also the founder of the Sons and Daughters of Albania, and he arrived to America over 60 years ago from his beloved Albania. Throughout his lifetime, he has exemplified the ideals of service to the Albanian American community in the Bronx. He has highlighted decades of leadership as a founder of several organizations, and as one of its most dedicated and respected members, Mr. Rizaj has been a champion of many causes, many projects and programs benefiting generations to come. He was previously honored by State Senator Alessandra Biaggi and former Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. Welcome to the stage, Asad Rizaj.
Welcome to Borough Hall. Today is not for us, it's for Albanians everywhere. We are very happy to be in the Bronx. We elected city councilman, Mark Jonai. We elected assemblymen and assemblywomen. And I hope one day we're going to have a mayor, and also maybe one day we're going to have an elected big star, but we cannot name a name until the kid is born, so we got to wait. I'm here for 60 years. We worked together with all elected officials. The last one was Ruben Diaz here, which he's supported us. He was with us. Also his father. I came here as a young man, and we did something with all together, not me, but all older people showed us the way. Kosovo was divided from Albanians. There are Albanians, and it's spelled Kosovo, not Kosovo with an O. Alphonse de Mara used to say to the Congress and to the Senate, it's not Kosovo with an O, but it's a Kosovo with an A. And Albania is the mother, Kosovo is the daughter. I thank American people, everyone. We worked and we will always work. This is our country. Albania is our motherland, but this is our country with all of us. And that's why we make a better fabric, a better situation, because God bless America and God bless all Albanian people together with all Americans. I thank Borough President Gibson, Governor, and all you people for being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Asad. Now we will do a posthumous honor for Ali A. Rizaj. The odds were already against Ali Rizaj when he was born on June 23, 1924, to a woman widowed only months earlier. The father he would never meet was killed fighting for the freedom of his beloved country, Albania, a cause he too would champion his entire life. At the age of 16, he joined the Albanian resistance to vanquish Italian fascists and German Nazis. He became a national hero when he took the life of a German soldier responsible for his cousin's death. This prompted the villagers in the town of Jakova to coin the phrase, "Have no fear, Ali is here," in reverence of his valor and domination during such an ordeal. After the war, his campaign against communism led to his imprisonment for 2 years. Once discharged from prison, he began his journey to Yugoslavia with his wife and 2 sons, leaving behind another son and his mother. When he refused to participate in espionage against his compatriots in Kosovo, he was incarcerated for another 3 years. Upon completion of his sentence, Ali brought his family to Italy, where his family would spend the next several years in different camps. On May 9, 1962, Ali completed his journey to the land of the free and the home of the brave. Every day of his life, he maintained that the United States is the land of immigrants, the land of opportunities, and the cradle of democracy. Using each roadblock as a brick with which to build his dream, his bedrock was the nationalism and pride in being an Albanian. Every Rizaj descendant has taught that Albanians are all branches of the same tree, whether they are Christian, Jewish, or Muslim. Their roots are their blood, their nation, their flag, their tradition, and their history. Each day that Ali woke to breathe the sweet freedom of America, he vowed to bring that air to his own country. In commemoration of the 40th anniversary of Albania's liberation in 1994, President Sali Berisha awarded Ali with a medal in recognition of his valiant efforts. Finally, in 2000, after 49 years in exile, Ali made his way back to a nation most proud of its son and was reunited with his own son, Sahit, by then an adult with a family of his own. On March 14, 2003, Ali passed away surrounded by his family. One man with the world on his shoulders fought against the current to bring 3 sons, 4 daughters, and 18 grandchildren into this world. Just another one of the many accomplishments that make Rizaj proud to carry his name. Ali Rizaj was a man for others, a hero, but most importantly, he was and will always be Esad Rizaj's grandfather.
Father was a soldier. He was not a hero. He always wanted to be that way. My father fought fascism, Nazism, and communism. He was incarcerated in Albania and in Yugoslavia. He was a simple man. He died, but he will never be forgotten. He was honored by the President of Albania, Sali Berisha. And also, I thank from Ruben Diaz, and also Senator Alexander Biaggi honored my dad. He was a simple man. He never called himself a hero, and he wanted to be known as an Albanian soldier for freedom. He fought for the freedom. I thank again Governor Hochul, Borough President Gibson, and all you people for being here. And thank you, and Dad, rest, because people recognize your duty that you did for ethnic Albanians. God bless America, and God bless all American people. Thank you. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention my niece, Sofia Zayas. I introduced her to these Albanians that they are here. So she was the first one, but she's my adopted niece.
Thank you so much. So now our Borough President and Secretary of State will present the proclamation to the Ambassador of Kosovo.
Okay. Whereas the Albanian American community in the United States originates from many nations of the world. In 2022, the Albanian American community of New York, the United States, and across the world are celebrating the 14th anniversary of the independence of the state of Kosovo. And whereas today, in partnership with Acting Secretary of State Robert J. Rodriguez, we celebrate the contributions of the Albanian American community in the Bronx and beyond. And whereas Albanian Americans in New York City are an important part of the multicultural fabric of our society, raising families, serving their communities, and striving to make their lives more prosperous and fulfilling. Now therefore be it I, Vanessa L. Gibson, President of the Borough of the Bronx, in recognition of this tremendous occasion, do hereby declare today, February 17th, 2022, on behalf of the more than 1.4 million people who call the Bronx home, Kosovo Independence Day.
So I will read a very short amount of this because I think we want to raise the flag a little bit more than read an entire proclamation. But whereas the history of Kosovo is highlighted by individuals of courage and unwavering commitment to the ideals of liberty and democracy, and this celebration of its independence deepens the sense of appreciation that generations of young Kosovars have for their ancestral history and heritage, and whereas our state welcomes occasions that promote awareness, appreciation, and understanding of various cultures of the world, and this day of celebration provides a means by which all New Yorkers can experience the many distinct aspects of the culture and heritage of Kosovo. And we extend best wishes to our statewide communities of Kosovars on commemorating this anniversary. I, on behalf of Kathy Hochul, do hereby issue this special citation in commemoration of the 14th anniversary of the independence of the Republic of Kosovo. Thank you.
I'll be short this time, thank you. I just want to say that I'm very honored and proud today on this anniversary of the 14th anniversary of the Republic of Kosovo. Thank you very much, and I'm sure that this wouldn't have been possible without the great contribution of the members of the Albanian American community here in New York. I want to use this opportunity to recognize the work of Mr. Mark Jonaj, Harry Bayraktari, Vedat Gashi, and Mr. Rustem Geca, and so many other friends that are here with us today. And I especially want to thank also Ambassador Walker for telling the world on what we have been going through during the most difficult times of our lives. Thank you very much, the Office of the I want to thank the Office of the Governor Hochschild for this proclamation for citation, and as well the Bronx Borough President. I assure you that we will keep our cooperation. We will work together. This is the first time that we are organizing this event, but this will become traditional, and I look forward on working together in the coming years. And thank you so much once again on behalf of the institutions of the Republic of Kosovo. Thank you very much for being with us today.
you so much. And lastly, we would like to acknowledge William Walker, diplomat who served as the U.S. ambassador to El Salvador and led the Kosovo verification mission. If you could please step up to the podium and say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you. I would just say very few words, because maybe alone in the room today, I am the only person, I believe, who 14 years ago to this day, I was sitting in the Parliament building in Pristina when the Assembly, formally declared independence, and did so by having every member of the Parliament stand up, walk up to a table, and sign the Declaration of Independence. I was born here in the States, and for my 86 years, every year I have helped celebrate what for me is a very important holiday in the United States, which is July 4th, the day when we announced ourselves as an independent country. 14 years ago, after that ceremony, I went outside into the streets of Pristina. Later that day, I went to Peja. And it's very hard to be able to describe the emotion, the happiness, the joy, the celebration by the 95% of the people of Kosovo who were ethnically Albanian. Here we are 14 years later. Is everything going well in Kosovo? No, there are still problems. But every time I go back to Kosovo, and I've made 49 trips to Kosovo over the last 20 years, I am amazed at the progress that is made every time I go back. I cannot convey to you my pride at having been in Kosovo during that day when the desires of the people of Kosovo were brought to fruition by the signing of a Declaration of Independence. So I'm extremely, extremely proud to be with you today, all of you who have participated in achieving that independence, all of you who are not Albanians, but come from the Bronx or the state of New York or from wherever, to help Kosovars and all Albanians remember the significance of that day 14 years ago. I do have one thing I must say, and I can understand the president of the borough declaring the Bronx the best county in the United States. I represent Los Angeles County. Bigger, warmer, but just as diverse. I appreciated your words. You know, these are troubled days in the region, the Balkans, Eastern Europe. Once again, as we had, as was described earlier, when Slobodan Milosevic, president of a bigger country with all sorts of military equipment, with all sorts of support from other countries of the world, tried to force a small neighbor, Kosovo, to remain part of his kingdom. Here we are 24 years later, and another big bully in Europe, also with incredible arms, incredibly capabilities of destruction, is intimidating a smaller, weaker neighbor, Ukraine, to rejoin the Soviet Union. I am reminded that the people in Kosovo in 1999, at independence in 2008, no one who is a serious Democrat, a serious person who believes in human rights, no one who lives in Kosovo would ever want to go back under the control and guidance from Belgrade. And the only footnote I would add to that is that I am very, very pleased to see the international community, the European Union, the United States, NATO, stand up for Ukraine and tell Mr. Putin he can do nothing like what he is apparently planning to do, or there will be serious consequences. My only hope is that if any country tries to impose its will on the small, still weak, but growing and prosperous country of Kosovo, any country outside tries to impose itself on this wonderful little country that was formed independently 14 years ago, I hope, I pray that the international community will come to the same conclusion that Kosovo must be protected at all cost. And I hope today that that is right. So with the ending of the pandemic, hopefully coming soon, I hope to be able to go back to Kosovo once again. I certainly hope all the people to my right are able to go to Kosovo and see what a wonderful place it is, but especially to meet the people of Kosovo, the Kosovars, who are absolutely incredible and deserve all of your help, all of your appreciation, all of your honors. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
4, 3, 2, 1. Independence Day!